talking point 2. I don't know why I'm calling it talking point 1, 2, and 3, because honestly, that's the way I'm just going to label the show at this point. Right. So we're going to talk about, like, the falsehoods of dating. We're going to talk about all the false, minute-ass, like, crazy shit that just isn't real. I don't know where we got these standards. Mm-hmm. But I'm going to start off first and foremost, but I'm going to let you go first. First and foremost, the biggest falsehood I believe about dating is the whole no argument. You go.
You have to argue. Because whether you started dating when you were 19, when you were 25, or 30, or whenever, that means that there's been a period of time, unless like y'all been together since y'all were kids, which is very rare. But if y'all met in college or after college or at work in your 20s or again like in your 30s or whatever, that means that there was a period of time y'all did not know each other.
Right.
You did not know each other's like upbringing, their traumas, their trials, their accomplishments. There's this whole gap of personality development. You're just coming now in this part of their character arc.
Right.
You've missed the whole origin story.
Right.
You're in the middle now.
You're like in season 25.
You're in season like you're like way past season 6 now.
Right.
You know, like they've already beaten a couple villains and protected the village 3 times over. Now they're doing it again. Right. And now they're inviting a possible new king or queen into their land.
Basically.
So you don't know the history of this land.
Right.
So you're gonna argue.
Right.
Because you have to figure out like, okay, where we meet in the middle, where do we clash, how do we mend?
Right.
And you have to. And if you don't argue, like, either you're lying to each other for clout or for social media, or you're just lying to yourselves to try and keep this perfect image that you have for each other, and you end up killing the relationship because you're not being honest with each other about having disagreements.
Right.
Me and my wife been together for 6 years, married for it'll be 3 years in next month.
Nice.
We'd have disagreements.
Right. And I think honestly, when I used to be in these situations with people, I used to argue. I used to laugh. Like, I ain't gonna lie about it. I was toxic. Like, literally, I ain't gonna cap y'all. From like 14 till all the way to like 24, I was toxic and misogynistic. I did not care. Like, I didn't give a fuck, because the world and women showed me they didn't give a fuck about me, so I just wanted to spread nothing but pain, which is very much real.
Hurt people.
Right, trauma, which we're totally going to get into. But for me, I think the whole argument thing, for me, I used to just laugh, because I'm like, bro, I don't have enough time or energy to deal with what makes you upset. Whatever you're going through, fix it and then come back to me. I'm not going to argue with you on something. I remember I had a freaking argument with this one girl I went on a date with a while, like, not too long ago. Like, again, we were just, like I said, I invited her out to dinner. I already asked, I told her I'll pay, because I'm just like, I just want your time. I'm tired of being by myself. I'm tired of being in this house. No, this is before COVID got bad, way before COVID got bad. And we just went out, and we were having an argument, a disagreement over who would pay for dinner. Because from my standpoint, when I got to talk to her, she's always been the whole, like, the breadwinner in the relationship. She's always had dudes to do projects with, which... By the way, the word project means, ladies, just because I ain't got shit and I ain't shit, don't mean you gotta pour all your time and energy into me to make me into the man you want. If I'm not the man that's already through the door, that means I will never become that man eventually.
Don't waste your time on that.
Do not waste your time. Potential with no purpose is the worst thing you could possibly do to yourself.
Oh my God.
For real. But with that being said, it's just I used to laugh in women's faces. And then... going down the line, most recently was earlier this year when I actually was in a relationship and I was having a disagreement with my woman. I'm like, you know what? Okay, you're fine. I'm like, okay, I see that made you upset. I see what I did is wrong. How about I take it down? How about I make it up to you some way, somehow, so I can mend this and fix this, because I care about you. If this is something that's bothering you and it's making you stressed out and it's my fault that I started it, especially a lot of us, we need to start taking... What is it? What's the word? Responsibility for the things we do to people. Like, I've finally realized the things I say to people can offend people.
Yeah.
Very much. But I realize just because I don't have a filter doesn't mean it's gonna not offend anybody.
Yeah.
I can say whatever I want when I want, but I just gotta know how to finesse it, which I'm currently doing.
Yeah. I agree with what you're saying though too. But like sometimes we have to be aware of ourselves too, because it's so easy to say, well, your skin's too thin, so that's just your fault. It's like, you know, maybe I'm coming off a little too brutal.
Right.
Because like, there is such thing as being honest, right?
Right.
But some people like to use I'm just being real and just being true.
To be a dick.
Exactly. Like, no, you can be honest. You can be truthful. You can tell the real truth about something without saying, well, you know, maybe you're just a dumb bitch. Like, no, maybe it's like, hey, you're not making good decisions right now, man. You need to stop
Right.
You need to stop and take a step back and look at what you're doing.
Exactly. As a black man, I can accept that rather than you being like, you stupid bitch. Who the fuck is you calling a stupid
And
bitch? I don't even fucking, I don't care what you just said earlier.
Now
Everything
all
else
advice
goes out the window.
Exactly.
Now I'm about to say what you say it again. Say it again. I'll prove you who's a stupid bitch. I'm going to show you who's
And
stupid.
that's the thing, exactly. Now you're not going to listen to the overall message.
Right.
You just heard just the opening line. It's like, well, everything you say now, even if it's like advice straight from Jesus through me, it doesn't even matter now.
Pretty much. Like, you're going to have arguments. You're going to have fights. You're going to have spats. Because like you said, it's the honeymoon phase, the getting to know you phase, honeymoon phase, which after we finally got together, now it's that we
Going
have
at
to...
it like Jack Rabbits, too.
Right.